Okay, where do we stand right now? Those are turned off, that's turned off, those are turned on. Oh my goodness, this morning. I think everything is working. I hope everything is working. I don't even know if anyone's going to show up to this, but we're going to start anyway because we got things to do. So, if everything else is ready, and I think it is, I think we're good to go. Alright, hello! Shadowcat back with more of our 40k conversion module, which is an absolute monster of a conversion module. How long have we been working on this one? How long have we been working on this one? Because it's been a while. It's been a while on just Tau alone. But I think already this is larger than all the other conversion modules we've done. It's probably bigger than several other of the conversion modules we've done combined. But that's the whole thing about Warhammer 40k. The thing that makes 40k unique is scale. It is enormous. Everything is turned up to 11, and that includes the size of it. So I knew it was going to be an investment. And I see that JP is in the chat. Hello, JP. It's good to have you here. I was worried that nobody was going to show up for this one. Because, oh my... So, I volunteer at a local food pantry, which is why there was no lecture yesterday. However, I also have, because of custody things and stuff like that I'm just totally not involved in, but I have, you know, children, family that also come on like alternating weekends. And it used to be that they would come on the weekends when I was not working at like the food pantry. However, ever since Christmas, that is now swapped, and now they come on the weekends when I am working there. So, not only did I have children this weekend, not only was I working this weekend, but because of that, I got like nothing done. And so I completely forgot about setting up the stream today until like 15 minutes before, because I so very foolishly thought that I could wake up early this morning and get some recording done to help prepare myself for this week and then be able to start the stream. Well, I did that and then realized that I had never actually set up the stream. So then it was like, okay, how quickly can I set up a live stream and will anybody actually know? But hey, JP knows. See, that's the benefit to having a schedule. Even if I don't put it out there, people know that it's going to happen at the same time every week. This is why scheduling's important. You hear me, Vivzy Pop? Scheduling is important. Anyway, though. JP says, don't you get a 30-minute warning? JP, I didn't even get the stream set up until 15 minutes before. There was no 30 minutes to give a warning. I had to set the stream up, write up the advertisement for it, grab the link, and throw it out to all of my different Discord servers. Because I didn't expect YouTube to actually send out the warning. I don't know if they did or not. Because as far as YouTube is concerned, this is like an impromptu live stream. Even though I should have had it set up like days ago. I am bad at the thing I profess to do. Anyway, though. It's out, it's done, we're live, it's good. Also, JP says, had no idea 40k would be this big. It's been like 3 months? I don't know. Let me take a look. Okay, because this is not that hard to look up. Let me take a look. Because I can do this pretty quick. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to my studio. And let's see, content, live streams, filter by 40k. What do you mean, nothing here? I'm literally doing one right now. Oh, I titled it 40,000. Never mind. Just search for Warhammer. Okay, we have done, counting this one, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17. This is the 17th live stream that we have done in 40K. Now, granted, we did miss 1 week over New Year's, but if we narrow that down to just once a week, that is 4 months so far. And we're still not done. We are not getting through all of the Battlesuits today, I don't think. It's possible we may get through all the Battlesuits, but I don't know. It's going to depend on how much work we have to do and how many, like, variations we need to do, because there's a lot of Tau Battlesuits, but there's also a lot that are just the same. So why don't we go ahead and pull up our stuff here, and we'll get a better look at what we're doing today. So we'll bring up our spreadsheet. We'll bring up our browser. We can get rid of the whole starting soon thing. We're started now. But we are very much started now. I see Blizz is in the chat. Hello, Blizz. Good to have you here. So let's see what we actually have to do in terms of Battlesuits. So tanks, here we go. Light Battlesuits. Now, when it says light Battlesuits, we did the stealth Battlesuit last time. We did that last time. And the stealth Battlesuit was in the Tau Arsenal because the pilot Battlesuit we turned into power armor. And very interesting power armor at that. Most power armor makes you really big and tough. The pilot Battlesuit makes you really agile. Basically, it's the Flash of Battlesuits. Or just really of powered armor in general. Rather than making you really big and bulky and strong, it makes you really dexterous and fast. Great if you want to be a pilot, just, you know, probably not the best thing in a fight. The stealth Battlesuit, on the other hand, is an actual combat battlesuit. And so it does actually give you the big strength and everything else to go with it. So we got those. But those are small. Those are powered armor. Now we actually have to get into the actual mechs. These are going to be all of our actual vehicles. So, ignoring the stealth battlesuits, we then get into the medium battlesuits, and that is the Crisis battlesuit. So we got the XV8 Crisis battlesuit, okay? And it's a Crisis battlesuit, okay? I mean, you take a look at it, and there it is. It's a Crisis battlesuit. It's got a body with a head, with cameras. It's presumably the pilot and everything else is inside of here. And I cannot imagine it's very comfortable. I wonder, do we have a tech sheet on any of these battlesuits? Bodyguard teams, I mean, we'll go through and read through some of this. Here we go. Yeah, we do. Xeno Ordos classifications. Okay. Crew 1, it's a pilot. Length, width, height. Okay, the height of this thing, 2.8 meters. I mean, 2.8 meters. 2 meters is roughly 6 feet. Your average person is about or just slightly less than 2 meters. Which means that this thing is only like 9 feet tall. Let's go ahead and do the conversion. 2.8 meters. 9.1 feet. These things are not very big. They're really not. But I mean, when you look at them, it's very obvious there's no leg in here. I mean, this shin right here, this is a solid piece of metal. Or if there is room in there, it's going to be things like hydraulics. There's no foot in there. There's no leg inside there. And I mean, the most I can think of is like maybe you have your straight leg coming down the thigh of the robot. But that just seems really awkward. First off, I mean, look at the hips on this thing. Even if you were to put your straight leg down the thigh of the robot, your legs would be spread so wide to do that. So I have to imagine there's got to be a seat in here that somebody is sitting on. And it's got to be cramped. Tux is in here. Tux says, we're still doing Tau. Cat loves Tau. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm ready to be done with Tau. I really am. I'm ready to be done with Tau. I do like Tau. They are, I would say they're pretty easily my second favorite. My first love is going to be the Mechanicus. I love the Mechanicus. But Tau and all their battlesuits would definitely be my second. But I'm ready to be done with them. I want to move on to something else. But the fact is, I gotta have all this stuff done for the battlesuits before we can do that. It's the last part of Tau that we gotta do. I just want to get it done and over with as quickly as I can. And the fact that the ultimate vehicles part of Starfinder is so bad is not making this any easier. But, I mean, we are in Battlesuits. It is the last part. Once we get these done, we'll be able to move on. And I think after we get these done, we'll be moving on to Eldar. And after Eldar, I think we're done with 40k. And I say that I think we're done with 40k after the Eldar because I want to be able to give you... Oh no, we're not done with 40k in general. But the last race I think is going to be Eldar because I want to give you options. The problem though is that of all the races and all the species in 40k, some of them are just not going to be compatible. So I can't let you have orcs as a playable race because there is no such thing as like a cooperative orc. Okay? Orcs don't even really cooperate with each other. So even if we are playing something like a rogue trader, and you have your own starship and the freedom to go and travel and stuff, you're never going to have an orc on there. So orcs are out. Okay, what else do we have? Necron. There is no such thing as a cooperative Necron. Necron are highly organized with other Necron. But Necron are literally slaves to the Satan. I think it's the Satan. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, but they're literally slaves. They could not cooperate with other races if they wanted to. Their mind, body, soul, everything is bound to serve. They don't get a choice in the matter. Eldar we can do, because even though there are Dark Eldar, there's the Craft World Eldari. And so that's an option. And while I don't necessarily know of any cases where a Craft World Eldar really allied itself with anybody else, the fact is they could. And so I can give that as an option. Tau, of course, will work with everybody, and humans, while they don't usually, there's lots of humans who are actually part of the Tau Empire. It's an option. Mechanicus, same thing. Astartes, same thing. I'm trying to give you all the races that we actually could play together. So if everybody had like one of each, can you put them all on a ship? Yes. Yes, you can. So after we get done with Tau, we do Eldar. After we get done with Eldar, however, there's a few more vehicles that we have to do. Like, we have to go back and do Lehman Rust tanks and Rhino tanks for the Imperium. We need to do things like Dune Striders and Dune Crawlers for the Mechanicus. Shouldn't take that long. Then, and this is where things are going to get real interesting, then we have to do Psyker rules. And possibly even Chaos rules. So Psyker rules is just going to be my own custom magic system. Okay, we'll have to figure out how do we find out the psychic potential of your character, and once we find out the psychic potential of your character, how do we measure the stamina? What are the mechanics for how you use your psychic powers? How do you develop additional psychic powers? And then we need a system for how to use them. And we need to make all kinds of different tables for percentages, because every single time you use your Psyker powers, there is always a chance that it kills you. This is the reason why Psykers are literally hunted down. I mean, every single Psyker above a certain level is a potential conduit for a demon to enter the Materium. So Psykers are hunted down. If they're not killed on spot, they are herded onto the black ships, they are sent back to Terra, and they are stuffed into the Golden Throne. If you happen to be strong enough, they will try to turn you into a sanctioned Psyker by teaching you how to use your psychic abilities. But even then, most of those recruits don't survive the process. And even those who do not turn into a portal for demons to come through, they just literally fry their brain. So psychic abilities are going to be interesting and complicated. But this is my specialty, so it's going to be fine. But that's what we've got in the future. We've probably got about a month or so left of doing Warhammer 40k, assuming that I can keep up a pretty good pace. So, well, okay, maybe like a month and a half. Because if we can do Battlesuits today, and we're going to try to get through all the Battlesuits today, I think we can, because I don't think Battlesuits are going to be as complicated as they look. Battlesuits today, maybe Eldar next week. So the Eldar race, they only have, as far as I know, the one race. So Battlesuits today, Eldar race and Arsenal next week. And then maybe Eldar Wraiths the week after. And that should finish up the Eldar, I think. Because the big thing about Eldar is that all Eldar are psychic. That's their thing. So, I mean, Mechanicus have all their robots and all their different environmental effects. Astartes, of course, are super strong. Tau have lots of vehicles. Eldar are psychic. Okay, everybody has one thing that really makes them unique. So there's not a lot to the Eldar when you don't have Psyker powers already. So race, arsenal, maybe wraiths on the same day, maybe wraiths the day after. We'll give it 2 weeks for the Eldar. After that, we go back and do Imperium vehicles. Shouldn't take that long. We have lots of experience now. So that's 5 weeks. And then maybe I can knock out the whole Psyker thing in 1 week. Might take 2. But I mean, once we get the baseline down for psychic abilities, or at least how Psykers work in general, the rest is going to be pretty easy, because then it's not a matter of how does it work, it's just what do you want to do with it. And after that, we just need a way to track like chaos corruption, which is real simple. It's just your basic light-dark system. So yeah, about a month and a half, I think. More of 40k, and then we move on to something else. What is the something else? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. But for today, let's go ahead and get started on these battlesuits. So like I said, battlesuits I do not think are going to be as complicated as they look. Because when we look at the medium battlesuits, Crisis Battlesuit, Crisis Battlesuit, Crisis Battlesuit, Crisis Enforcer. However, the Enforcer Battlesuit is a variant of the standard Crisis Battlesuit used by Tau commanders. It's just another Crisis suit. So, Cold Star Battlesuit. What is this? The Cold Star Battlesuit is a variant of the Enforcer. The Enforcer is a variant of the Crisis Battlesuit. So again, still Crisis. The XV-89 Crisis Battlesuit. Then we get the Broadside Battlesuit. The Broadside is the heaviest variant of the Crisis Battlesuit. So, I mean, you got all of these different battlesuits. Let's see. Broadside, hazards. JP says, 6 months of Warhammer 40k. Do we get a course credit? You know what? I happen to know a professor. Let me ask. I'll see if I can get you credit for this. I'm not sure what obscure ruling I'll have to go with, but I'll see what I can do for you. Actually, I don't think it's going to work because we only do this like 2 hours a week, and I don't think there's any class that gives you course credit for 2 hours a week. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I was in school. Let's see. Hazard armor. The Hazard Close Support Armor is a newly introduced battlesuit used by the Tau Empire. Though highly sophisticated and powerful, its introduction has caused controversy. Okay, so it looks like the Hazard battlesuit is its own thing. So we got the Hazard Close Support Armor, this Hazard Close Support, this Hazard Close Support. Then there's the Ghost Keel. The Ghost Keel is a large Tau stealth battlesuit. This thing stands more than 3 times the height of a Space Marine, though. But while it does share a similar design as others, I mean, it's very clearly an actual mech. So this is going to be its own thing. Then there's the Vanguard Void. We don't have a whole lot of information on this one. Wait, hold on. The Vanguard and the Vanguard Commander. Okay, so I think Vanguard is just its own battlesuit. So Vanguard Void and Vanguard Commander, it's just a Vanguard battlesuit. Without having a whole lot of information to go on, I don't necessarily know what to do with it. And for that matter, looking at this, what is it that makes a Hazard battlesuit different from a Crisis? So, I mean, the legs look very similar. The torso looks very similar. It's got a different design, but a lot of that's just aesthetic. Is there anything that really makes this thing different, like in terms of size, from a Crisis battlesuit? I mean, the broadside is a Crisis battlesuit with extra armor. The Hazard I'm not sure. I'm wondering if perhaps all we really need to do is to just make a medium-sized walking mech, and then depending on what you want to put on it, you can design whatever version you want of a medium size. Do you want to have a Crisis suit? Do you want to have an Enforcer suit? It kind of just comes down to whatever you happen to slap on it and whatever you're building it for. They all seem to use the same chassis, which is why I think they're all listed down here under the medium battlesuits. So I think that's it. I think we just have to build just one medium-sized chassis. Yeah, I think that's it. And then heavy battlesuits. We've got the Riptide, okay, which is, you know, a Riptide. The Ravarna. It is an advanced, it's a development from the Riptide. So Ravarna, same thing as the Riptide. No change. The Yavara. It is a type of battlesuit rushed into deployment after the success of the Yavarna. It is a Class 10 battlesuit. Rushed into deployment after the success of the Ravarna, but it doesn't say that it was necessarily developed from it. Still, though, I mean, it does look similar enough that I would be willing to say it's basically the same thing. So I think that all three of these are essentially the same one. So that would be just like a large battlesuit. But then we get into things like the Storm Surge. And this thing is just an enormous weapons platform designed to serve as the Tau Empire's Titan killer. So I look at this in this way. Let's take a look at Ultimate Vehicles. Okay, we're going to take a look at the Ultimate Vehicles here. Where is the Medium Walker? Here we go, Medium Walker. Okay. Medium Walker says that it is 8 feet wide, 10 feet long, 10 feet tall. Alright? 10 feet tall, we already established that the Crisis battlesuit is 2.8 meters tall, 9 feet. We're going to round it up a little bit and say that the Crisis is medium size. Okay, so if the Crisis is medium size, and by extension then all of these are also medium size, the Riptide gotta be large. Do we get a stat sheet for this? No, we don't. So I gotta make that judgment call. I'm making it right now. Riptide and all of its variants, large. Which means the Storm Surge and the Ta'unar, whatever, the Supremacy. If these are large, these have to be huge. And since we essentially double the size every time we do this, if the mediums are 10 feet tall, the Riptides are standing at about 20, and the Storm Surges are going to be standing at about 40. Which I think lines up pretty well. Where did we have these? Yeah, Tau Battlesuits. Does this stand up with what we saw here? Can't really see this very well. Let me just drag this down a little bit. Okay. So if this is our Crisis and this is 10 feet tall, what is this one over here? I can't read that text, it's too tiny. Open in a new tab. Okay. Stealth, Crisis, Enforcer, Broadside, Riptide. So as we'd established, Riptide is going to be large, about 20 feet tall. So if he's 2 meters, then his hip, or this thing's hip, would be 4 meters. If the torso should be about the same length, that means that this thing should be standing at about 8 meters tall, give or take. 8 meters tall, roughly, is 26 feet, so well within the area of medium-sized mech. I think we've got it right here. So we need to have one medium-sized chassis, one large-sized chassis, one huge-sized chassis. We got it. This is going to be super simple. We only need to make 3 actual battlesuits. So, like, all of this, all this stuff here, this is gone. We can literally just delete all of this. And we can just say Crisis, Enforcer, Broadside, Medium, Riptide, Large, and then Storm Surge. Surge. Supremacy. Huge. There. Done. And again, these are going to be very bare bones. I just want to build the walker. We do not necessarily need to have the integrated weapons and everything. So let's look at this. Tau standards. I got to change this, actually. And let's go ahead and move this browser back up, because it's in the way. These are going to be not... These aren't standards for everything. These are going to be Tau standards for... I'm going to move this over, actually. These are going to be Tau standards for tanks and planes, because it cannot apply to the walkers. The walkers, of course, do not need to have hover capability. So Tau standards, battlesuits. Alright, so when it comes to walkers, every medium walker comes with a kick attack because every walker, they have 2 legs and a body. That's it. Adding arms or additional legs requires the limb add-on. This counts as a vehicle rather than a starship or a mecha. Walkers automatically gain the off-road modification, which is included in the stats. Okay? So because they automatically have 2 legs and a body, what else do we need? And let's really think about this, okay? Let's really, really think about this. I want to come to here. Yeah, here. Because here's the thing. All of these battle suits look like they have arms. If you look at any of these battle suits, it looks like they have arms. But very, very few of them, I think, have actual arms. Now, I could be wrong about this, but like when we look at the Crisis Battlesuit here, it looks like this thing has hands, but like these hands are so recessed, can they actually be used? And are these even hands at all? These could be fingers. These could also just be plates. They could be heat vents. I don't know. Because this right here looks almost the same as this up here. And these are radiators. Do any of them have actual hands? This is the Iridium. Is that a hand? I don't know. What about this one? The XB81. Is that a hand? Because if it's not a hand, it's not an arm. Okay? If it's not a hand, it's not an arm. It's not an arm, it's just the mounting for the weapon. Which means that it does not need to have the additional limb modification. It just needs to have the weapon mount, which is covered when you put the weapon on there in the first place. Let's see. This is the XB84. Again, are those hands? I can't tell. What about the Enforcer? Now, those look like hands. I see fingers and I see, more importantly, thumbs. These look like hands. So Enforcers, I think, do have actual hands on them. Therefore, they would have actual arms. However, when we get back into this Crisis Battlesuit here, again, I just see guns. What about the broadside? Let's take a look at him. Oh, this thing absolutely does not have hands on it. This thing just has weapons strapped on to arms. The Hazard armor. Again, it's iffy. But like, even if these things were hands, I mean, what's it gonna reach? I guess I can understand having the option just in case you sent the battlesuit out there naked. I don't know. Let me ask you, in the chat, let me know what you think. Should we, as like the bare bones model for these, should we be giving them actual arms that are like capable of grasping and manipulating and everything, or should we just leave them as weapon mounts? Let's see. Additional limb. Here we go. So under additional limbs, there's leg. So this adds an additional limb to a vehicle for complex purposes and could be additional legs for a walker. The basic leg must be the same level as the original frame it is mounted on. A vehicle with an additional leg may use that limb as a basic melee attack equal to the size of the vehicle. Each additional leg adds a piloting bonus of +2 while on the ground. However, additional leg arm. Each arm gains strength equal to the level of the arm up to the frame's level. Purchase plus the size of the vehicle being mounted on. It also gains the basic melee attack punch equal to the size of the vehicle. Arm is purchased. This can usually be an arm which may act as a crane or complex manipulator, ergo hand. For an engineering vehicle, a single weapon equal to the level of the arm can be mounted on this limb and controlled as a gunnery weapon. So basically, if you add an arm, it automatically acts as a weapon mount. Which I guess means that you can either attach it to or you can just hold it. Tuck says, not safe for work, lewd Tau arms. I mean, if that's your kink, I'm not going to kink shame you. And JP just wave hands, so I guess we're putting arms on them. So that means that every single one of these is going to have 2 additional limbs on them. If that's going to be the case, then under Tau standards, additional limb arm times 2. It's going to be military, of course. Black Sun filter. And so I think that's pretty much everything that we should need for these. As far as cost goes, though, Black Sun filter I don't have a cost for. Military is an automatic +4%. I think. Is it +4% or is it +40? I don't remember now. That's heavy armor. Flight systems. I went too far. Lumbering, mecha, military. Doesn't actually say right there. Let's go down here. Military. That is 4.0. Oh my goodness. That's not 4%. That's 400%. That's 4 times the cost. Okay. This was never 144 to begin with. This is plus 540%. I gotta go through and redo all my prices now. So this is at a minimum plus 400%. With the additional limbs, though. Let's see, armored. The armored heavy is where you're going to get your broadside. So, like, you can take the Crisis Battlesuit, and it's going to be just like a battlesuit. It'll have armor plating on it and all that stuff. It'll be automatically military, which is going to give it better armor to begin with. But if you want to make a broadside, you'll throw the armored heavy on there. That'll be your choice. I mean, you can do that, you cannot do that, it's up to you. Additional limb falls under here. Additional limb arm is actually static. It's 1,200 credits per level of the frame per limb. And they got this backwards. Additional arm per level of the frame per leg. Additional leg, 1,000 per level of the frame per arm. See, this is what I'm talking about. No standards. Either way, though, 1,200 per level of the frame for a medium size. Let's see, that's gonna be level 3, I believe. The attack. Yeah, so that's tiny, small, medium. 1, 2, 3. So for the cost of 2 arms, that will be an automatic 3,600 per arm, 7,200 credits. So, you know, pricey. Okay, though, let's go ahead and get started on this. So we're going to copy this. And we're going to say medium battlesuit frame. This is going to be good for Crisis, Enforcer, Broadside. What were the others? Hazard, Ghost, Keel, Vanguard. Hazard, Ghost, Keel, Vanguard. All right, so automatic percentage is 400%. And the automatic flat to start off with, because of the 2 arms, will be 7,200. Plus however much it costs for a walker. How much does it cost for a walker? I don't know. Medium walker costs 4,000. So that's going to become 11. All right, size. Medium walker. The dimensions for this thing. Since I'm not going to go with the actual dimensions, I'm just going to go with the standard size for regular walkers. I'm just going to go ahead and say that these things are all going to be 10 feet long by 10 feet wide. Well, I mean, it's just meters, so it's going to be 10 by 10 by 10. Okay, 10 by 10 by 10 cube. And however it chooses to fill up that cube. And, I mean, you have access to anything up to the 20 foot by 20 foot by 20 foot cube. So anywhere in there that you want to go. Actually, so I'm just going to put that. I'm going to say 10 foot to 15 foot cube. There we go. Make it your own. All right. Speed. At level 1. It doesn't go that fast. So the base speed is 30 feet per turn, which ain't bad, but we're going to be increasing that with the military add-on. Energy AC 10, kinetic is 10. So 10, 10. Cover is none. currently. HP by default is 3. And it's broken on a 1. Hardness is 2. So the automatic attack from this thing, because it is a medium, if we scroll all the way up here, it's 1d6 per size. That's going to be tiny, small, medium is 3d6 plus 1. So it's going to be collision, DC 13, I do believe, and it does 4d6 damage. But that's not all. No, that is not all. Because this thing is going to have additional attacks. So it's going to have a punch times 2. Because it's going to have arms. Now, how much did it say that did? So each arm gains an additional strength equal to the level of the arm up to the frame's level purchased plus the size of the vehicle being mounted on. What does that even mean? So it gains strength equal to the level of the arm. So if it's a medium-sized arm, that means, I guess, it's level 3. Plus the size of the vehicle being mounted on, which I guess would also be 3. So does that mean that this thing has a strength of 6? Maybe? Well, let's think about this. What does that mean? Okay, so if the arm itself had a strength of 6, that means that the arm itself would be able to lift 6 bulk. Okay, I actually think that does make sense. If the arm itself had a strength score of 6 and it could lift 6 bulk, let's think about this. This is heavy armor. We were looking at this before. When we look at the bulk for this heavy armor, most of these are 2 or 3 bulk. Which, if we convert it, means that these all weigh like 20 to 30 pounds. But that means that each arm would be capable of lifting 60 pounds on its own. If we had a battlesuit with 2 of these arms, which we do, that means that each arm would be capable of lifting 60 pounds. Together, they should be able to lift about 120 pounds at a minimum. That does not sound unreasonable. As a matter of fact, it sounds a little lowball. So we're going to have to add this in somewhere. I can get rid of this. Modifications, should I put that in there? No. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'll put it in here. So it's going to get a punch times 2. Yeah, melee attack, punch equal to the size of the vehicle of the arm purchase. So it's got punch, it's got kick times 2. I assume the DC is the same. So DC 13. So that's just a piloting check to see if you can do it. We do that. No, I don't want that. 4d6. 4d6. There we go. And then over here, we're just going to say strength 6. Because I don't know where else to put it. Piloting. Every additional leg gives it a piloting bonus of 2, but we added 2 arms. So we're not getting any other bonuses from that. The piloting on this says it is +0 and a -1. So +0, -1. Modifications we don't have yet. Passengers. This says that here we go. These carry up to 2 medium passengers and a small cargo area. It does not tell me what fits in the cargo area, though. However, this light police walker, it says 1 pilot, 1 gunner, and a small personal additional cargo area holds 20 bulk. Is that in the modifiers? Let's see, advanced materials, lightly armored, military, improved mobility, weapon mounts, usually a searchlight, and a small arm weapon. Okay, it does not mention in the modifiers. So let's assume that it holds 20 bulk by default, which, by the way, happens to be the same space as a person, which means that there is enough room to stuff an extra person in the trunk. But because this thing only has 1 pilot, it's going to be 1 pilot and 40 bulk. Okay. Now, we have to add the military part of this in. So the military part means that it's going to move 25% faster. 25% of 30 is roughly 7, so it's going to go 37 feet. Full from 50 is going to be roughly 12. So 50 plus 12 is going to be 62. So that'll actually just get rounded down. We're going to call it 60 feet. And that means that this thing will move about 12 miles an hour. Which is still pretty slow. I mean, I'm pretty sure that means that you can run faster than this thing walks at max speed. As for the armor, that goes up to 12, that goes up to 12, this goes up to half by default. HP. The HP is going to go up to 4 and 2. And hardness is not going to change because it's only going up by 1/2. Actually, I'll go ahead and kick it up. We'll round up on that one. And again, just, you know, reminder, the whole 4-2 over here is how many hit points, or at what hit points your unit becomes broken. So you have 4 hit points to start off with, and then once you're down to 2, you are considered broken. But is that it? I feel like that's it. So this is just one bare bones medium walker. So it's got 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 pilot. Technically speaking, you could jump in this thing right now, walk out of, I don't know, the hangar, the garage, whatever it happens to be, but you can walk out there and just start punching and kicking things. Anything else that you add on here is up to you. It comes with the 2 arms automatically. It comes with the military. It comes with the black sun filters. So modifications, it's got 3. And you can put on here whatever you really want. It doesn't require me to put anything on here. You can build it as your own. So if you wanted to have just like the regular Crisis Battlesuit over here, what would you want for this one? Knowing full well that every arm counts as a weapon mount, so you don't have to add those now. Let's see. This is a Crisis Battlesuit with a missile pod and a plasma rifle. So that's all you got to do there. You've already got the weapon mounts in by way of arms. So 1 missile pod, okay, 1 plasma rifle. So that's 2 right there, and you still have 1 extra. This is the XV8. This doesn't really say a whole lot, though. So I guess it comes down to these. This one has a missile pod and a plasma rifle. Death rank configuration. Twin link missile pod, drone controller, and 2 drones. The Sunforge. Twin linked fusion blasters, shield generators. Actually, there's a lot of configurations here. Do any of these match what we saw there? Burst cannon, plasma rifle, let's see. Yeah, here we go. The fire knife configuration, I think. Plasma rifle, missile pod, plasma rifle. Yeah, that's got to be it. This fire knife configuration. So, plasma rifle, missile pod, and then your third modification could be that multi-tracker, which just means that you can make multiple attacks in 1 turn. So there you go. You're allowed to have 3 modifications. You could easily make this one, it would be a fire knife. Your choice. So there we go. I think we can call that one good. And price, we can figure that out later. Not really important right now. We just know what the base cost is. So what about the next one? That's our medium battlesuit frame. Now how about large? Large battlesuit frame. And this one is, I think, going to be exclusively the Riptide, because all of these are variations on the Riptide. Yeah. So, Riptide plus variants. So we can get rid of those. We can technically get rid of those too. So size. This is going to be a large walker. Speed is going to become complicated because it's going to go up and it's going to go down. So the speed is automatically going to be this. So we'll paste that in. These we already know. It's going to be 10. This is going to be 10. Dimensions, actually. This is going to be a 20 foot by 20 foot by, or a, no, excuse me, a 20 foot to 40 foot cube, and anything inside of that. So, you know, to be determined when you make your walker. Cover is by default none, but that will change. HP will be 3, 1. Hardness is 2. Attacks. So that is going to be collision. DC 14, because this thing is going to be bigger. Punch times 2, DC 14, and kick times 2, DC 14. And since medium was 4d6, these will be 5d6. And since the attack up here, or at least the strength up here, was strength 6, larger arm, larger frame is going to be another +2, so this will be strength 8. Which is great, because that means that now each arm can lift 80 pounds worth of stuff. Alright. Piloting is a +0. Full speed is a -1 so far. Passengers, and this is where I gotta double check. Riptide, is it still 1 pilot? I think it is. Okay, Riptide is a heavy battlesuit, the pinnacle of Earthcast development. Hold on. Just gonna do a quick search for pilot. Let's see, as a result, only the XV8 bodyguards are granted the honor of doing it. Known pilots. It does not actually tell me how many other pilots. I think it's still only 1. I could be wrong, but I think it's not until we get to the Storm Surge where we see more than 1 pilot. Let's double check before we go any further. Let's see, the Storm Surge, I don't see anything skimming, but my eyes aren't that good. Let's see. Shosper experienced in battlesuit piloting controls the suit itself, while a graduate controls the weapon systems. So yes, I was right. Yeah, right here. The Storm Surge has 2 crew instead of 1. So the Riptide absolutely only has 1 pilot. That's fine. We can work with that. That's exactly what we needed. So passengers, 1 pilot, and the crew was going to be 40 bulk. That's by default. However, the first thing we have to do, and I do think that order matters here, I'm not positive, but I think order matters, is I think we have to make it big. maybe it doesn't matter. There's, I'm sure, some very advanced mathematical stuff that needs to go in because military is going to increase its stats by like 25%. And then making it bigger is going to make or take those away, I'm sure. So yeah, here we go. Oversized. So when we oversize it, it increases it from small to medium, medium to large, large to huge. This increases the passengers by 20%, or cargo. We'll increase our cargo space. It increases cover by 1 step. It increases the vehicle frame cost by 25%, and the piloting penalty by 2. HP is increased by 15%. Speed is increased by, or reduced by 15%. Double the size, the height, width, and length. Okay. So, actually, we're not going to do these in sequence. We're going to do these at the same time. Military. So, speed plus 25%. Armor plus 25%. Cover plus 1. HP plus 25%. Right? That's military, right? Speed, hardness. I forgot hardness. So, hardness plus 25%. Speed, hardness, hit points, armor. Yeah. Base speed, hardness, hit points, armor. That's it. Oh, I guess cover does not go up from military. I thought it did. Speed, hardness, hit points, armor. Yeah, never mind. Cover does not go up. Which means that technically this medium battlesuit still has no cover. And this is still a 1. I may have to go back and review some of my other vehicles now. Alright, so that's military. Now, oversized. Alright, this increases the passengers by 20%, or cargo, so cargo plus 20%. Cover plus 1. Let's see. It increases the frame cost by 25%, but we'll get to that. Piloting penalty minus 2. So piloting is going to be minus 1. Or minus 2, excuse me. Piloting minus 2. HP goes up by 15. And speed is reduced by 15%. All right, so there's our modifications for both of these. So what do we end up with in the end? That means that HP is going to be plus 25 and 15. 40%. Speed is still going to be a net positive, but it's only going to be a plus 10%. Armor is still plus 25%. Hardness plus 25%. Cover plus 1. Piloting minus 2. Okay, and that's how we turn this thing into a big militarized large battlesuit. Lots of math. Lots of math. But you know what? It's going to be easy math. So let's start with speed. Speed is only going up 10%. 10% of 30 is 3, so 33. Technically that rounds up to 35. So, yeah. I forgot. I need to reduce that to the nearest 5. So, 35 feet. Full speed is super easy because that is a 5. So, full will be 55 feet. And 10% of 10 is 1, so it has a max speed of 11 miles per hour. There we go. HP is going to go up by 40%, which is not really helping the HP out a whole lot. I'm just going to hit it with my calculator to be sure, but 3 times 1.4 is only 4.2. However, because it is oversized, cover will go up to half on this one. So it is still going to come out as 4.2. And this time I'm actually sure about that. Hardness will go up to 3. This stuff does not actually change. The piloting, however, is going to go down to a minus 2 and a minus 3. So, not the most nimble. Pilot is not going to change. I can't add, 20% of one pilot. However, 10% or 20% of this would be 8. So, this thing will now hold 48 bulk. And because this thing is large, it will hold 4 modifications. So, I mean, this is pretty good, right? Is there anything else we got to change on this thing before we move on? Oh, I didn't get the armor in. This is very simple, though, because it's still only 25%, so 12. There we go. The only thing I think I did wrong is I think I spelled variance wrong. There we go. Yeah, that works. So, there's your Riptide. All you gotta do now is slap whatever weapons you want on it. Again, it has 2 arms. So, all you gotta do is just pick out the weapons you want, add them. If you want to pick 2 weapons, that's fine. That still leaves you with 2 modifications left. And, I mean, let's take a look. How does this compare to, like, an actual Riptide? So, the XV-104 Riptide. I don't have an actual data sheet on this. But let's see. It stands twice the size of the Crisis Suit series. That makes sense. I mean, that literally fits. The Crisis Suits stand 10 to 15 feet in a cube. This is 20 to 40. Let's see. Most commonly are armed with a burst cannon or ion accelerator, as well as Riptide shield generators. So there's 2 modifications. Twin smart missile systems, there's 3. and twin fusion blasters or plasma rifles. There's 4. There's your 4 modifications for a Riptide. It matches the cannon, and it fits in the game perfectly. So I mean, this is the goal. We want to make the Warhammer setting fit as seamlessly as possible into Starfinder. And I mean, that slips in like butter. Alright, that being done, we have 1 left. So this is going to be a huge Battlesuit. And this is going to be Storm Surge and Supremacy. So copy this. There we go. So we can get rid of those. Now, interestingly, getting into these, the Storm Surge does not actually have arms. The Supremacy does, but the Storm Surge does not. So we'll have to add in a separate rule for these, or at least for the Storm Surges. They'll have to get an additional 2... they'll get an additional 2 modifications. And JP says huge. I subconsciously heard it in Trump's voice. Yes, we're going to be making the best battle suits. They're going to be huge. We're going to put them on the Logda border. I can't do a very good Trump. That's the best I can do. Make of it what you will. But yes, we're going to put Tau on the border. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Size. Huge. Walker. The dimensions will be 40 feet plus cube. Okay. The last one had a lot of math. This one will have more math. So speed, we're going to do this exactly the same way. We're going to start with the medium walker, but then we're going to modify everything. So 10. Would you just... I know what I want to put in here. Stop trying to fill it in for me. Cover, none. HP is going to be 3. 1. Hardness is going to be 2. However, these we can absolutely just fill in. So collision DC 15 because they are huge. And this is going to be a 6d6 damage. Punch times 2. DC 15 with 66 damage, and kick times 2 DC 15 66 damage. In other words, don't get stepped on. Piloting is not great. It is 0 and -1. And it's gonna get so much worse. It's going to get so much worse. Okay, here's what we're gonna do though. Passengers. 2 pilots. JP says it's another soundboard item. Wait, what's another soundboard item? Trump saying huge? I mean, I could probably find that. He says it a lot. Cargo is going to be 20 bulk. Because we do have to fill in both slots. Okay, then. We're going to need this again. So, we're going to copy that, and we're going to bring this down here. And JP says, yes, it's Trump saying huge. Alright, fine. I will see if I can find just a sound clip of Trump saying huge. It's going to be huge. It's going to do like the biggest button on the entire soundboard. It's got to be a huge button for Trump to say huge. I'm going to have a great Trump impression by the time I'm done with this because I keep doing it so much. Okay, let's actually not do that, okay? Oh, one thing I forgot over here. Strength. Because it is a huge walker and the arm has to match. That means that it gets 5 points of strength for the size of the arm plus the size of the frame. That's going to be strength 10. So each arm can lift up 10 bulk or 100 pounds, whichever way you want to measure it. Alright, so we got the military. Now, what about oversized? So it looks like this is it's just the one oversized, meaning that I will simply double this, I think. So let's do my best to actually line this up. That's going to be oversized times 2. So speed is normally a negative 15. Now speed will be negative, or minus rather, 30%. Armor, there is no change, however. Cover, plus 2. HP was 15 before, now it's going to be HP plus 30%, not $30, 30%. Hardness does not change. However, cargo plus 40%. And piloting minus 4. So, what do we come up with in the end? At the end of all of this, it's going to be speed minus 5%, which honestly is probably not going to be big enough to really hurt it. Like 5% of 30 feet per round. Well, 3 would be 10%, so that's 1.5. It's literally not going to affect it. Armor is going to be plus 25. Cover plus 2. HP is actually plus 55%. Hardness is plus 25%. Cargo plus 40%. And piloting minus 4. So that's the end of our modifications there. pretty significant. Speed is actually not really going to suffer that much, but the increase in HP is significant. Like, this is a level 1 walker we're building here. So the difference isn't that much. But when we look at your higher end walkers, like if this was a level 20 walker that we were turning into a storm surge, a level 20 walker has 100 hit points. If this was turned into a storm surge, plus 55% HP is 55 hit points with full cover. Alright, so let's go through and do this. Let's start with the hard one first. Speed. 5%, or minus 5% of 30, as we already established, is only 1.5. It's going to round back up to 30. 5% of 50 is only 2.5%. It's going to round back up to 50 as well. So the only thing that really is going to change is going to be the miles per hour, and even then, it's not going to change. It really does not change. 5% is not enough to change anything. We don't have to do anything about it. Armor, 25%. It's going to be 12, 12. Cover, however, goes up 2 steps to full. And so we go to full. Actually, hold on a second. Something about this doesn't seem right. It says cover none, but it goes down at roughly 25%. That seems backwards. Cover partial, that's half, right? Cover full. Yeah, cover full. So this large wheeled vehicle has full cover, it has 13 HP, and it's broken at 3. Yeah, this walker was written entirely backwards. Either the walker is not supposed to have full cover, or they wrote the wrong cover in every single space. Which, you know, would not surprise me. So let's look. Partial, they increased this to roughly half, and then full, they went back down to a quarter. Yeah, because a quarter of 40 is 10, a quarter of 40... Okay, here's what they did. The problem is, they wrote the wrong numbers down here in HP. And I've been copying the wrong numbers in HP. Alright, I can fix this. Fortunately, there's only 3 that we have to go back and fix. Fortunately, actually for the huge, we don't have to fix anything at all. So, 3 plus 50% be 3 times 1.55 is 4.65. I'm going to go ahead and round that up to 5. So it's going to be 5. And it will be broken at 25% of 5 is going to be 2 point something. I'm just going to say that. Or no, 25% of 5 is going to be 1.25. I'm going to say 1. There we go. Hardness is going to be 3. That doesn't change. Piloting, however, is a -4 and a -5. So 2 pilots, that doesn't change. However, the cargo does go up by 40%. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so this will go up to... Well, actually, no, hold on. 20 divided by 10 is 2. Times 4 is 8. It's going to be 28 bulk. Now, things that have to be adjusted here. This has to be supremacy only. And this does not need to be bolded, because only the supremacy has arms. The Storm Surge does not. So the supremacy will have the additional punch attack there. Modifications, however, because this is a huge battlesuit, by default it gets +7, or no, excuse me, +5. +5. However, because Storm Surges do not have arms, it will get a +7 Storm Surge only. Because Storm Surges do not have arms. Actually, let me go up here. Let me add this in. So we got the huge battlesuit, Storm Surge. Let me add another note in here. Storm Surge does not include arms. There we go. So actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm not going to do this. Here's the thing. The Storm Surge doesn't have arms, but I made a mistake there. It may not have arms, but it very obviously has weapons. Obviously, it has weapons. So we're gonna undo this. So the Storm Surge does not have arms. Storm Surge is going to replace arms with, and I want to make sure I got this right. Additional, no. Here we go. Vehicle weapons large. Okay. With vehicle weapon large. Tuck says there's arms underneath them guns. I mean, there could be. There could be tiny little arms inside there. Maybe every single one of those missile racks has a tiny trigger behind it. And so they have to reach through and pull each trigger individually. But even so, you can't punch with them. Also, if you push it over, I'm pretty sure it can't get up. Really, who thought of this? This is like the worst idea. And I mean, I don't mean to be mean like this, but I gotta tell you, when we get around to playing the Warhammer 40k module, if you get in a Storm Surge, and you actually take the Storm Surge into combat, I'm going to knock it over. Okay, I'm gonna knock it over like a bowling pin. I'm not trying to be mean, okay? I'm not trying to ruin your fun. I literally just cannot not do that. I'm gonna push it over. Alright, I think we can delete that because I think that this is looking really good. So this takes care of our Storm Surge and our Supremacy. Both of them are really big, but because the dimensions here are really fluid, I know the Supremacy is supposed to be a lot bigger than the Storm Surge. This gives you the freedom to do it. Because I said cube, that means that if you want to make or increase the Supremacy size to 45, it will be a 45-foot cube. Everything should increase at the same time. Alright, I think this is fine. So there we go. There's our Battlesuits. Let's go ahead and delete this as well. Don't need that. We've got Crisis, Enforcer, Broadside, Hazard, Ghost Kill, Vanguard. Riptide plus the others. Storm Surge, Supremacy. We're done. We're done. This is it. That is the end of Tau vehicles. That's it. We did it. We're done with Tau vehicles. I need a soundboard button now for celebration. I can't wait though. This is going to be great. I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know if you're going to have necessarily access to these. I'm sure, because obviously you're going to have access to some kind of starship. That's how you're going to go from place to place. As far as what vehicle you have, the way I see it, we can finally leave the page for ultimate vehicles. This is going to haunt my dreams. If we come back to starships, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Here we go. So, starships have cargo holds. So, cargo holds hold approximately 25 tons of goods, with no item being larger than large. Starships with multiple cargo holds can hold larger objects, usually 4 contiguous cargo holds required to hold huge objects, and 8 for gargantuan objects. Now that's very interesting, because when they say large objects, I mean, what exactly do you mean by that? And I think what they mean is vehicles. Because when you say large objects, I mean, what do you mean by large? A suit of power armor is pretty large, right? A suit of power armor is just pretty large. You can fit a person inside there. However, a suit of power armor, as we just established, is 3 bulk. Okay. Well, I'm almost certain that a cargo bay can hold more than 1 suit of power armor. Especially when it says that it holds 25 tons. So the way I figure it, if every bulk is 10 pounds, and a ton is 2,000 pounds, 2,000 times 25 is 50,000 pounds. If every bulk is 10 pounds, we divide that by 10, that's holding 5,000 bulk. That means that if you have a big cubic cargo bay, and you wanted to hold, say, the ceremonial plate troop armor, if we divide that by 3, we can hold 1,666 and 2/3 of another plate armor in a cargo hold. Which sounds like... It sounds out there, it sounds bizarre, right? But like, think of a shipping container. Like, if you had to ship body armor, like everybody here is military to some degree, think of like plates, okay? Think of like the normal vest that you would wear in the military. How many of those can you stuff into a shipping container? And as a matter of fact, think about all your gear. How many full kits could you fit into a storage container? So fitting, you know, a whole bunch of power armor into a cargo bay, no problem. So when it says the cargo hold can contain no items larger than large, I have to assume that they mean a vehicle. So if you had one cargo hold, then in theory, so long as you had one cargo hold, and cargo holds on starships are free, by the way. I mean, so long as you've got a starship and you've got extra expansion slots, you can have a cargo hold. That means that you could put a Riptide in a cargo hold. Now, it may be the only thing in that cargo hold. In fact, I would probably specify that it can be the only thing in that cargo hold. But you could do it. And then, if you wanted to have something like a Supremacy, you would need to have 4 cargo holds. It's either that, or you would need to have a hangar bay. The hangar bay, however, is very, very specific to starships. So a hangar bay says it provides a place for up to 8 tiny starships. And Tuck says, how many 200-pound packs can fit on a weatherized, essentially plastic-wrapped, pallet? I don't know. I guess it really depends on how high can you stack it and how well can you wrap it. Again, I'm sure somebody's done the math for this, but I don't know it. But yeah, a hangar bay is essentially, it says it takes up 4 expansion bays. So we're already talking about a cargo hold that can hold a huge object, a huge vehicle. A hangar bay that holds 8 tiny starships. I forget the reduction. I think I do believe that it's a reduction by 2. So 8 tiny starships would be 4 small starships. But that would lead then to 2 medium starships or 1 large starship. So, I mean, should a gargantuan ship be able to dock with, or be able to hold a large ship? A gargantuan ship is anywhere from 2,000 to 15,000 feet long. A large ship is anywhere from 300 to 800 feet long. Actually, no, that works. That actually totally works. So yeah, I think it is a reduction by 2. So if we had a hangar, that would work. All right then. So yeah, these do convert back and forth. I like the way they convert back and forth. I think that if you wanted to have some kind of vehicle on your ship, which I'm almost certain you will want to, having a battlesuit would fit. But even when we get back to doing things like a Lehman Russ tank or a Rhino tank or something like that, I don't know how big a Lehman Russ tank is off the top of my head. I could probably find out. Go back. Let's see, Lexicanum. 40K? Does this take me where I want to go? Yes, it does. Okay. Warhammer 40K, Age of Sigmar. Here we go. Faction portals. Let's go with Astra Militarum, because they like their tanks. So here we go. Astra Militarum vehicles. Bikes, no. Centaurs, no. Cyclops demolition vehicle? No. Cilia, Tauros, Chimera, Salamanders, Destroyer, Hellhound, Devil Dog. Here we go. The Lehman Russ main battle tank that everybody loves. How big is it? The length and width is what I'm most concerned with. The length is 7.08 meters. 7.08 meters. So it's roughly 23 feet long and 4.86 meters wide. So 23 feet long by about 15 feet across. I think that pretty much puts it in the area of a medium-sized vehicle, maybe large. But even if we say it was a large vehicle, again, that should fit in a cargo bay. That'll fit in a cargo bay easily. And if we did say that it was a medium, because we're working on a 2-point reduction system here, if it'll hold 1 large, it'll hold 2 medium. So if we've already established that the cargo bay will hold a Riptide, then it should hold 2 crisis suits. If you happen to actually come across 2 crisis suits. Or hell, 2 tanks. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens when we get there. But we are running long on time here. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to wrap things up here. We're going to tie this off with a nice little bow. We do have one more thing we have to do with Tau. Just one. So we're going to have 1 more week of Tau because we have to go back to the war gear. So we did all of their weapons, we've done all of their armor, we've now done all of their vehicles. The last thing we need to do are their Tau technologies and support systems. This is a long list of all of their gear. However, a lot of this I think is already covered in various other modifications we can add to vehicles. And even then, a lot of this I think is going to be very, very easy to add. So, I mean, things like this. The Advanced Stabilization System. So, the Advanced Stabilization System for a Tau Battlesuit support system available exclusively to broadside battlesuits. I'm probably going to skip the exclusive part of this and just make it a vehicle upgrade. With this system equipped, all the heavy weapons are upgraded with stabilizing gyroscopes that enable them to be brought to bear at speed, even when on the move. As a result, it allows the user a high degree of mobility while retaining the ability to fire even the heaviest of weapons accurately. You know what that sounds like? That sounds to me like a piloting bonus when it comes to firing. So the reason why all of these are... Oh, come on, mouse. Don't do this to me right now. There we go. Where's my mouse? There it is. The reason why all of these are DCs and not a plus whatever to hit is because you're making piloting checks whenever you want to fire one of these. So if you wanted to punch something, instead of saying I'm going to make a roll to attack and I have a plus or my base attack bonus plus my dexterity plus whatever, no, it's a piloting check. So you roll your piloting check to do this, and you know, there you go. With this, it just sounds like a plus whatever to piloting when firing, or specifically when firing while moving. The advanced targeting system, let's see. It is a specialized target acquisition computer that identifies and picks out high priority targets of value, plotting efficient fire paths to counter them. With this, tactically important enemy figures such as squad leaders, special weapon wielders, and commanders can be more effectively pinpointed as specific targets for elimination by a battlesuit pilot or vehicle gunner. This is useless. Absolutely and utterly useless. Why is this absolutely and utterly useless? Let me explain. When you're talking about an actual battle situation where you are actively trying to handle everything in real time, this is a godsend. It's basically a highlighter. So as your camera is watching the battle system and you're trying to coordinate all the information coming in, the computer can say, there's a squad leader. There's a commander. Oh, by the way, that guy up there on the ridge, yeah, he's got a rifle with armor-piercing rounds. He's important. That's all really important information. But when we're playing, number one, it's not in real time. It's turn-based. So you don't need the speed benefit there. Number two, you have the time to actually inspect things around here, and you can even ask me questions. You can say, hey, that guy right there, can I see what he's holding? And I'll say, yeah, you can see what he's holding. That guy's holding an armor-piercing rifle. And you can say, okay, I want to make a piloting check to literally blow up the entire cliff he's laying on. Oh, by the way, I'm also sitting on a fusion blaster, so I can turn that entire cliff into a smoldering pile of molten rock. And I can say, yeah, good. So this entire advanced targeting system, absolutely useless. Automated repair system, it's exactly that. Swarms of maintenance drones. Basically, flip the switch, restore HP. It's a heal. This is not going to take us very long to go through. Even as extensive as it appears to be, I will go through and make the list of everything in here. And then we're just going to go through it. Energy shields, we already have shields. They're armor upgrades. All we got to do is make a version of that for vehicles. The work is already done for us. So that's what we'll do next time. It also means that next time might be rather short, so either we'll have a short stream or I will move right into the Eldar, which is very possible. We might move right into the Eldar after that. I don't know. We'll have to see how it comes out. But that's all we got to do. And then we can wave bye-bye to the Tau forever. Or, you know, we can wave bye-bye to the Tau at least until we start the game. So, look forward to that. If you're tired of Tau, we're almost done. That's going to have to wait until next week. So, if you want to see it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, that way you get notified, assuming, of course, that I actually get the stream put out on time, because YouTube can't notify you if I don't bother to actually schedule the stream. I mean, I suppose everybody does that once in a while. This is my one. I just have to be better than this from now on. If you know somebody else who's also into Starfinder, tabletop games, Warhammer 40k, any of that kind of stuff, go ahead and share this video with them, because they'll probably enjoy it. If they love Tau, they're going to be in heaven right now. There's like 2 months worth of Tau stuff for them to go through. They'll have a great time. So share it with anybody you think might enjoy it. Otherwise, though, if you just like me, leave a like on the video, leave comments down below. If you want to play with us, or you just want to yell at me in like more real time, join the Discord server. I'm still looking for players. I'm advertising on other servers now, trying to get players to come in. So we'll see how that goes, but join us on the Discord server. Otherwise, though, next week I should have another lecture. Don't know what it's going to be on. Next Sunday, we'll be finishing up the Tau. We'll take care of it then. So, hope to see you there, and until then, take care.